everybody. I'm Scofield Thomas, Managing Director of 800 Tech Limited. And I want to introduce you to a series that we're going to be having every Thursday at 4 p.m. It's called Beyond Tech. What is Beyond Tech? Beyond Tech is where we allow you into the softer side of technology. We allow you behind the scenes where you get to hear our experiences, our challenges of life as a technology enthusiast. And it's going to be a series where we're going to be very candid with you. We're going to let you know exactly, what life as a technology person feels like. And of course, with every company is going to be different. Every individual is going to be different. So this is just for us to give you some insights behind the scenes in terms of how life is for us beyond technology. So today I'm going to start off this series and I'm going to give you my experience as a business owner, as a technology business owner, what that is like for me, from my perspective. So as most of y'all may know by now, our parent company was Southern Technology, or is Southern Technology Limited. And Southern Technology Limited was incorporated in 2003. And if I step back a bit, prior to 2003, we were already doing technology services, but we were not officially registered. So we were providing services in the neighborhood, to friends and family, to just referrals that we were getting at that point. Well, I was getting at that point in time. And I actually enjoyed it, and with time, it started to take off. At that time, I had an 8 to 4 job. I had this budding interest at that point in time, and I was also in university, pursued my degree in computer science. So you could get an appreciation for the challenges that presented. So things started to ramp up, with the hobby. The hobby was taking off, and it was becoming a lot to manage. And so I decided, the next step, incorporate a business. So I incorporated the business and we called it Southern Technology Limited in 2003. I still held on to my day job just for a short period, because like with everything new, you're very uncertain as to if this is the right decision or if this is the right direction to go into. So I held on to my job for a little while, and then I think probably after about 6 to 8 months, I realized, something is wrong here. Not something is wrong. Something has to give, between these three masters I'm serving, which is my 8 to 4 job, university, and my new business at that time. So I sacrificed my university education at that point in time. I think I was in my 3rd year, if I remember correctly. I sacrificed that because when I looked at it, I said, okay, if I gave up my 8 to 4 job, I'm not sure if I'll be able to continue my business, because the business was fairly young at that point in time. It was like an infant, and it needed all the support I could get financially, that is. So I decided that, I'm going to call it quits with my degree for that point in my life, and I jumped in headfirst into Southern Technology. So Southern Technology was registered, and I started functioning as Southern Technology at that point in time. And of course, it started to ramp up, and I suddenly realized again, I have to make another decision, because now my hobby, which is now my business, is at a point where it's competing head on head with my 8 to 4 job. So I decided, to take the leap of faith, and I decided to call it quits in my job, much to the surprise of a lot of friends, and some family members. They were saying that, yeah, you're crazy, why are you doing that? You have a stable job, and blah 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 blah. But I wanted more. I wanted, to experience more, and I wanted to be able to create something for myself, or create something that, I enjoy doing. Not that I didn't enjoy my job, but I had no control really there. So I decided to start to jump headfirst into the business. So I did that, and that required me to have a space to function. So I went out, I signed a lease for a space on Eastern Main Road in St. Joseph, and started off doing business there. And for me, that was a really scary experience, signing that lease, that first lease that lease I signed was pretty scary, because now that meant that I'm obligated every month to pay my rent. So that for me was a little scary. Um, but I was a risk taker, so I jumped in and I continued. Some of the challenges I faced there was actually understanding and knowing when I needed to hire somebody, because at one point in time the work was getting so overwhelming that it was difficult for me to maintain quality and deliver a sound product and meet all the requirements that I had at that point in time, and all the other things that I needed to do. So I had to hire an employee and somebody to help out. So I hired this guy, and he was pretty sound technically, but for me, I had to learn how to coexist with somebody else in this entity that I created. And that was difficult at first, because I was very possessive of it. And when you create something, it's yours and you don't want anybody else come near it. And so I had all that to deal with. And but I quickly understood the value that he brought, and he was able to help to ease some of the load that I had, and it allowed me to now focus in other areas. So that went on, and soon enough we kept adding employees. We had a second employee within another 6 to 8 months, because things were really picking up. And then at that point in time, financing became an issue. So I had now had to understand how to seek financing for my company, because now I'm at a stage where I'm about to get a really nice deal, and I needed capital. I no longer have my 8 to 4 job. I used up all that capital, to start up the business. So I had to understand how to go about sourcing funds or getting capital to continue my business. That in itself was an experience. Um, that in itself would be another session altogether to give you that experience, because we all know how the banks in Trinidad are. They are not very friendly with small businesses, well, at that time, micro businesses, and they're very risk averse. So here I am with a company with not much assets, an unknown name, and I'm seeking capital. That didn't go down too well. So of course I had to raise capital elsewhere, and as I said, that'll be another video altogether. But in the end, we were able to maneuver. We got the capital, and we were able to start being an authorized reseller for Dell computers. And of course, that in itself had some additional challenges. Now I no longer just had to do relations with my employees and customers, but now I had to understand international relations. Because this is an international vendor I'm dealing with, and I had to understand their culture, their time zones, and how to do business with an international vendor, via the phone, because that's the method that we utilize then, phone and fax, fax invoices and those sort of things. And that in itself, made me mature really quickly, because you had to ensure that you were able to drive sales, to be able to sell the products that you're taking from this vendor, and also know what your reorder points should be, and of course dealing with customs and import issues. That took a lot. Many nights I sat down there, bewildered, didn't know okay what to do next. But I continued reading. I purchased a tariff book, I remember, to understand the tariffs and what were the percentages and understand how to create my markups. And it's been an experience, you know, it's been an experience, but we were able to maneuver those things, and we kept transitioning. So we slowly transitioned from selling computer parts at one point in time for a short period, and then what was most lucrative for us was we selling Dell computers. We did that for a period again also, and then we realized we need to transition into something else, and then we got our first major contract with one of the telecommunication provider, and we were now one of their installers for, or contractors I should say, for their product lines or services. And that in itself helped the company to expand, you know, beyond what I expected at that point in time, because we were so focused on service excellence and ensuring that things are done right the first time. You know, we quickly, you know, developed a reputation for solving issues, and of course I was at the forefront. I worked 7 days a week, actually doing the installation, actually doing the repairs, actually performing the services, because I'm very hands-on like that, because I need to understand what my guys are experiencing in the field. Now at that point in time, we went from 2 employees to probably 8 to 10 employees within a short order. You know, that in itself, you know, was difficult to maneuver, and presented new challenges. Now the payroll is like way bigger than we expected, so we had to ensure that we delivered a sound service to ensure that, of course, the revenue is coming in a timely manner. So we had very few queries so that payments would be on time. So we continued along that path for a while, and you know, Southern Technology kept growing, and you know, we added more employees again as we kept going on, and we were able to maintain our position, and we were able to keep performing and offering sound services and sound advice, because a key part of our service is that we are a non-transactional type company, and we have always been. We like to understand our customer. We liked to interact with our customer at that point in time, understand, you know, what's happening with them, understand the root cause of things. You know, that has been something with us from ever since, and I guess it's part of the company culture, and it permeated straight through till today. You know, so that is something that is still there. So as we continue, I'll share some more with you guys, you know, how we transition from Southern Technology Limited into 800 Tech, because that in itself, there's a story there, and there are many other parts. You know, we could tell you some of the scary points as Southern Technology Limited. Sometimes when we thought we were going to close. So it's not all just good stories. There are some bad stories. There's some sad stories and some laughable stories, you know, throughout the whole process. So stay tuned, guys. Every Thursday at 4 p.m. we're gonna bring you another series, Beyond Tech, where I will be giving you some stories, and the other directors will give you some stories also, and also our team members. They will all be coming in, and they'll be contributing and telling you about things that they experience working at 800 Tech, or those who were in Southern Technology at that time. They'll give you those experiences. So thank you for joining in. Stay tuned until next week Thursday at 4 p.m.